A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube. It is the last one for quite a while. And yeah, the first one in quite a while, come to think of it. Had some technical difficulties out of our control last Thursday. We will have Pirates baseball on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox coming up here on Thursday afternoon. So no show on Thursday. And then we are actually off the next 2 weeks. So we will be back with our next edition after today on Tuesday, July 8th. On the local station, again, Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox, we will have just Fox Sports playing in our stead for those 2 weeks. And again, Pirates baseball rolls your way on Thursday afternoon as the Bucs will finish up the series that starts tonight against the best team in all of Major League Baseball to this point by record in the Detroit Tigers. So we'll see what the Buccos can do.
Talk about it.
Well, it has been so long now, and the Pirates have lost their mojo that it doesn't really feel like something I should take much advantage of.
What I'm talking about is the Phillies getting swept by your Buccos. I never said a word about it on the show that you missed that me and Landon were on it. I said, you know what? I deserve my punishment. And I'll accept it the Thursday when Ironhead gets back, and then
then all heck broke loose.
StreamYard blow up.
I mean, it was a fun series. It might be the 3-game highlight of the season for the beloved Pirates, as it turns out. Very frustrating series with the Cubs. All 4 games were there for the taking, and the Pirates just the offensive woes continue, and they are just wasting one heck of a season of starting pitching that they have put together.
Wear out soon.
Yeah, the Pirates, they have, I think their starters now have the most innings pitched from May to this point, and have the lowest ERA of the starters, starting rotations in Major League Baseball. Again, not for the season, from May till now. But they also have the lowest run production in Major League Baseball for the season, and that, of course, is the reason the Pirates remain among the worst in Major League Baseball. But it really is pretty incredible when you look at that starting pitching staff and the numbers they have put up, that the Pirates could be as bad as they are record-wise. Because you just figure with that type of pitching performance, again, even the worst offense, and the Pirates statistically have the worst offense in Major League Baseball, but you still figure, all right, over the course of the season, you're going to put up enough runs with those numbers, with the pitching staff, to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 500, and that is not where the Pirates are. Unfortunately, for those of us that are Pirates fans, and your Phillies, after a bit of a slump, are red hot now. They've reeled off 5 straight wins, and the Phillies are just 2 games behind the New York Mets now in the National League East.
I can't get it. I don't understand it. The Pirates might be the worst team in with their hitting and stuff like that. But I get it. We went out there with 15 people. I'd say about 8 of us was their first time. Absolutely love the stadium.
At PNC Park?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when we got out there and
it's a great stadium.
All I said is I want to sit out in a bar because they have the outdoor bars.
Yep.
And I said I want to go out there. When the Clemente wall, they had that caged-in bar in there.
Yep.
And I was like, let's try to get in there. And my buddy Tommy was like, no, there's one more closer to center field. So in between center field and the right field,
the
Miller Lite Bar, there was 3 stools sitting there. There was 3 rows ahead of me, and then the field.
Yep.
I was in the 4th row. And I sat there the whole game.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I was 15 feet from a bathroom, which was great. With my back, I couldn't walk that much, walk that well. So bathroom's right there. There's a bar right there. My seat was right there. Got a our friend, me and my wife's friend, she got a ball thrown her right from Castellanos.
There you go.
Absolutely made her day. I think she's still talking about it. That's her favorite
I can
player,
understand.
if you know what I mean. And he threw a ball in between innings, and the guy in front of us missed it. I don't think it was for him, but he missed the throw, and it fell into the field again. So Castellanos had to go out to get the ball, grabs the ball, points to her, and goes and throws it to her. First of all, I seen this woman's athletic ability. All I saw was a broken nose or a missing tooth coming, and I was getting ready to smack her out of the way to grab the ball because I figured she would drop it. Nope, 100% catch.
There you go.
Made a great catch on it.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's been on cloud nine since. Yes, but fantastic stadium, good people down there. Everything was good, and get it in, get it out. It was a little slow, but it was what it is. But great crowd. Yeah, to the point where we're going on vacation next week, and we're leaving out of Pittsburgh. And I was like, well, maybe the night before we'll go down to a Buccos game.
There you go.
And they play in Milwaukee, so can't do it. But that's how much we like the stadium. That we were talking about going back to it, a non-Phillies game.
Yeah, no, it is.
Cool,
it's a neat. It is a neat stadium. Great setup. All of that.
Oh yeah, and I left the stadium.
Lousy product.
And I'm not going to lie to you. It was like an angel coming out of the sky. Some guy comes walking by on a rickshaw on a bike. And, like I said, my back's been banged up. So walking's pretty bad. We're about a mile to our car. And I would go about a couple hundred yards, and I would take a little seat and then stretch out this and that and go. So we get out to the outfield, and some guy runs up, and he has the rickshaw on a bike. And I was like, dude, I'm at this slot. He goes, $20. It's the greatest $20 I ever spent. Me and my wife and her friends all jumped on there, and that guy was hustling, man. He had a little weight on that rickshaw, but it worked out great. So
he earned it that
I got to give you guys credit. I mean, it's good Philadelphia and Eastern Pennsylvania money that paid for it. So I'm just happy you guys are happy with it. And
we are
indeed. We gave you guys some good money for it. So, and I got to mention Alan, who's away this week on his trip. He's sitting on the beach right now listening to us. Yeah, the sweep.
I'll be joining you in 5 days. Not at the same beach, but on a beach.
It cost me 2 cases of beer to Alan. Cost me 2, so I owe him 2 cases of beer, but well worth it. Well worth it. So enjoy.
Indeed.
Alan. And enjoy last place, Alan.
Yeah.
Ironhead.
Last place by a wide margin, too. It's just frustrating. They've been playing better baseball, and I do like Don Kelly. I do think the team, at least in the short term, has responded better to him. There are some folks, fans, that are like, just give him the contract, make him the permanent manager, long-term, sign him up. I'm like, let's wait and see how this thing finishes up, because the Pirates have been in stronger contention. And again, I get it. They're playing right around 500 ball now since Kelly took over, but it's still 500 ball with that pitching staff. And really what I think is going to be more indicative of whether or not, and again, I like Kelly. I think he's made some very good managerial decisions, and I do think the players and the team as a whole has responded well to him. That being said, I want to see, once they are like completely out of it and we roll around to August, September, then how is this team playing? Is it still maximum effort? Is it still, we're going to, keep working and improving on some situational things, which I do think they have improved on here in the short term. But to me, you need more of a sample size before you settle in. Again, it's a great story. The hometown guy, enthusiasm, all of it. And I want it to work out too. I also think you got to be, from the business side of things, like, let's wait and see kind of how this thing plays out. And I am still of the mindset that it, at the end of the day, doesn't really matter how great Kelly is or isn't. until the Pirates get ownership that is serious about, hey, we want to put out a contender. It doesn't matter who you're
locking your coach up if you're going to fire him in 2 years because you're not producing on the field.
Which I just don't think they.
Like
they
other, are there MLB teams asking for him to interview him? And I mean, hell, you think that they would be nice enough and say, "Hey, yeah, take the interview. Maybe you can get out of here."
Couple of things just from the weekend that, and I ended up watching a good amount of sports. Our kiddo was substantially under the weather, so laying around on the couch. So I'm kind of go back and forth. I felt like I was back in my single days in terms of, all right, I'm watching golf over here, baseball here, and then I have the wrestling on my computer. So, but a couple of things that just kind of stood out to me. And one is, and we talk about this a good bit, Goon, but it really just was kind of driven home. The importance of, and it sounds so ridiculously basic, and come on, dude, like, of course, but like true belief in yourself is so critical, not just in sports, but I mean, sports is just a great place to get exemplary role models for what it takes to be successful in whatever endeavor in life you're in. But that self-confidence and that self-belief it was on display in several different sports forums over the weekend. But the two in particular that stood out to me were PJ Duke, which we will get into in his unbelievable performance against Yanni Diakomahalis, and then JJ Spawn and what he was able to do in particular, I mean, over the entire tournament, but in particular in the final two holes when everything else and everyone else was falling apart. And by the way, kudos to JJ Spawn. He deserved it. It is a great story. It was a great finish. He earned it. Also, USGA, come on. Like, you've got to start doing better than this.
Well, you know what upset me?
They should be embarrassed.
So, what's a water shot, you mean?
I'm talking about having them play
in general.
That stretch, or shot in particular.
Well, what makes me mad is that all weekend I was talking. I was away at my in-laws' house, so they had graduation party for my wife's niece. So, and I said the best thing about the U.S. Open is what? The extra, if it goes to an overtime or extra holes. And forever and ever and ever and ever, it was an 18-hole playoff on Monday. And I did not find out until about when Spawn was about the 12th or 13th hole.
Yep.
That's not a new thing. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I was furious. And it's because the NBC trade, they got rid of it because of it was not a watched event on Monday. I don't care. It's a free event Monday.
But they care.
It's unbelievable. So they would have had the opportunity to have. So then that goes into play. Okay, so you're gonna if Monday is a thing with the overtime, it's not overtime. Sudden death playoffs. Okay.
Yep.
So if it goes into the playoff, then I think that they are already planning on that. I think they would have suspended play Sunday night because they should not have been playing in that slop, and it was not fair. I don't really play it in it, but I know that what they're trying to do is get it in, get it over with, get everybody out of here. That's just the way they have to do it. I get it, but it was not fair, and I'd be very upset about some of the guys coming in. Sam Burns with that shot in that puddle, completely ridiculous. That's unbelievable. He has two different people, and both of them said it's not visible. He was standing there and took a swing. And it just splashed all over him, and it was like, how is this not visible? It's just a selfish thing on USGA's part. I could not believe they didn't give him relief on that, but I can't believe they even played.
Yes, on both counts.
At the time, I was happy because I was into it. I was like, all right, let's finish this, right?
And listen, it ended up providing. So this is the thing. Sometimes you can do the wrong thing and get rewarded, right? You make the wrong decision. And by the way, happens a good bit in sports where, this isn't the right decision, either a referee's call or a coach's decision or, a quarterback or a pitcher's decision on what they're throwing. But batter misses the pitch that you put right down the middle. The defense doesn't make the right read. A defender slips, whatever it may be. All of these things that it's like, well, that was clearly the wrong thing, but it worked out. And again, that happens all of the time in sports. We talk about it. I've been talking about it a lot with my kiddo. Again, has been getting into baseball, and it's like sometimes you don't hit the ball well at all. It dribbles off your bat and you didn't get it cleanly at all. And whoop, there you are on first base because nobody can play it. Other times you smack it. I mean, you absolutely drill it and, well, it's right at the second baseman. Well, that is sports. That's life. Sometimes you get a little lucky and sometimes you do everything right. You make the right calls, the right decisions, and you get burned by it. So to me, the USGA, both in the decision to play, but certainly with Burns' shot, that was. I mean, you're watching on TV. It's like you can't. That is not a playable ball. So that was horrible.
Worked out well for me. How you talk about how good things happen?
Yep.
Worked out well for me because I like Spawn because of how he went through the first three holes. When he this is what I want to get to with the confidence thing. So there was a lot of talk afterward about how last year's Spawn, it looked like it was coming to the end of his golfing career. Things weren't working out, and he's like, "No, I just decided to put my head down and plug away." Right. And much the same way. So that got a lot of attention that he was on the brink of having his career end last year. And now here he is as the U.S. Open champ. But yes, even more remarkable to me is, and I don't know that you can properly express how much inner fortitude and belief in yourself he has to have to be able to withstand that start in those circumstances and with the weather and everything else also playing into it, to come back the way he did and play those last two holes the way he did. And listen, that putt is going to be one of the most remembered putts in U.S. Open history. Does your feed stay?
Yeah.
We had one of those satellite 1 second before his swing that on that last putt it went black.
No kidding. Oh yeah, no, we saw it the whole way.
Like a minute and a half later, and everybody's going crazy, and I said, we just missed it. He was going to win no matter what. He had a two putts from there.
Well, not no matter what. Like that wasn't a given two putt. I mean,
you're right.
But if it goes like 6 or 7 feet by, like now you're back. I mean, it's still a lot of pressure there with that course being the way it is.
And they were showing the highlight with McIntyre, the Scottish guy, in the room.
Yeah,
so they're going, wow, and he starts clapping. And I was like, did he hit that putt? That's unbelievable.
It was. And if you missed it, JJ Spot hits, it was the longest putt the entire weekend. He does it on the 18th where he needed, at that point, a 2-putt to win it. Ends up, again, holing in from 64.5 feet out. Longest putt anybody made the entire weekend. And he ends up winning by 2 and finishing at 1 under, which...
couple things
in and of itself is remarkable.
That was the first time in a while that somebody had finished that was that close to being under par, over par, right? But he wanted as under par. He's the only guy under par.
Yeah.
But did you see the stat on Rory when he finished his round? And they said if he had finished today in negative numbers, he'd have been the first player in U.S. Open history to finish the last 4 U.S. Opens under par. That is insane to think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Woo!
not
that course, the U.S. Open in general, but that course.
Well, that course in particular, but yes.
I called Delegati yesterday, and I said, Dan, Oakmont did itself very, very well. Dan's a good friend of ours. He is a member there, and I said, you guys, yet again, it withstood it, and everything was great about it. And I did say that Wyndham Carter is now applying to be a Oakmont member. He's the guy who crushed up the locker room.
But to go from again being on the brink of just being out of professional golf because of results, and to get off to the start he did, which was a disastrous start through 3 holes in the final round.
It wasn't his fault either. That's what's crazy.
No, I mean, to hit the flagstick and end up
hit a rake.
However, yes, I mean, that is.
How did you not sit there and say, I'm cursed?
Crazy bad stuff. But so to me, this weekend, getting to watch that and then watching Final X with freestyle wrestling is a reminder to me of why those of us that love sports to the degree we do, because you don't know, even when you think you know, all right, I can see what's coming here. You don't. And even if it pans out the way that you're expecting, right? Like, you don't actually know until you see something unfold. So I think if you had polled anybody other than J.J. Spawn, and I'm not even sure Spawn, as he was walking to the 4th hole, would have necessarily been like, no, I'm coming back to win this. He might have been, all right, I'm going to steady myself. I'm going to get myself back in it. I find it hard to believe that even he was thinking, I got this. I'm going to win the U.S. Open, because he needed some help from other guys having some bad luck and bad shots as well. But just incredible. Even more remarkable to me was watching PJ Duke and Yanni Diakomihalis. And if you didn't see this and you don't follow wrestling, that's fine. Let me explain to you how unbelievable what happened on Saturday in Newark, New Jersey was in this regard. So Yanni Diakomihalis is a veteran. He has been around wrestling for a very long time and is really polished, really, really good, very creative, very good fundamentally, and again, is a man. Was a 4-time NCAA champion at Cornell, has been a world silver medalist, was in a battle for the world team for a couple of years there with Zane Rutherford, who is a Penn State wrestling legend, and is just terrific. PJ Duke is a young man who probably still looks up to Yanni Diakomihalis in some ways. But certainly as a kid, this was a guy that he was wanting to emulate. PJ Duke has had a phenomenal career to this point. Is on the under-20 world team, is a 4-time state champion. I mean, he is one of the stars in the sport, one of those guys that everybody says is a can't-miss prospect. But going up in senior wrestling,
yes,
it was pretty well presumed by most, including yours truly, that all right, let's
good learning
experience, good experience. And I'm listening to the broadcast with Flow Wrestling, and Jordan Burroughs is on there, and Burroughs, you can just kind of tell by some of the comments, like, we know Diakomihalis is going to win this, but let's see what this kid can do. Well, Diakomihalis wins the first match 10-0, tech fall. Duke
expected,
had some good opportunities there. I'm like, he's actually acquitting himself pretty well despite the score there. But, again, it's experience, it's strength, all of that. Then you get to the second match, first period ends, and PJ Duke is down 9-2. And again, I'm thinking much the same thing. It's like, man, this kid is not far off. Like, you can see that he's not that far away against a guy that may go on and win gold here at the World Championships.
And being down 9-2 is a very, very respectable thing.
Yeah, I mean
he's number one. Johnny is unreal.
Yeah, yes.
You know, I mean, it was expected. He did not look bad. He was not looking bad. He was not shaming himself by losing 9-2.
Correct. So they go to the second period.
Unbelievable.
And I think most are presuming that in fairly short order, Diakomahalis will get the points he needs to get his second tech fall and advance onto the world team. Duke climbs his way back in it, gets an exposure, then gets a takedown and exposure, but gives up the reversal. So it's a 10-8 deficit. And then, depending on your perspective, either PJ Duke catches fire or Diakomahalis absolutely falls apart, or a little bit of both. And Duke goes on and wins at 17-10. So this forces a third match. And again, I think most are like, man, that was unbelievable what PJ did. Hats off. He's going to have that in his hip pocket going into college now. That is really cool that he got a win over a guy like Diakomahalis. I think very few are still giving Duke a real chance to win the decisive third bout and advance as a world team member. But, and I wish I had a recording because this is the honest to God truth. I'm watching the flow it takes you back in the room where they're warming up, and they're kind of warming up next to each other. And I'm looking, they just pause, and again, it's just a couple of seconds, but they're panning over, and Diakomahalis, he's like catching his breath. He's like, okay, let's just calm down. Like I'm verbalizing what I think is going on in his mind. It's like, okay, you can do that. And it just was so not what I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see Diakomahalis just like kind of carry himself as, you know, dude, that was cool. I gave you your moment. He wasn't. You could see, and again, this was like 3 seconds that I'm looking at this on the Flow Wrestling screen on my computer, but I'm looking at Diakomahalis's eyes, and I'm looking at the way he is, and I'm like, I'm telling you, I think PJ Duke is going to win this third match, and just based on that, I don't think that is good body language. I don't think that is a confident wrestler. And I'm not saying Diakomahalis was going in there thinking he was going to lose, but it wasn't. He didn't go into that third bout believing, no doubt about it, I'm the guy. Time to show him once again. I think he was struggling mentally after what happened. And completely understandably, by the way, he gets outscored 15-1 in the second period by a high school kid. PJ Duke, by the way, finished up. His last day of high school was yesterday. So, I mean, this was a true high schooler still at the time that ends up winning it. And if you didn't see it, again, 2-0 is the lead for Diakomahalis in the second period. Duke gets in on a really nice sweep single, works his way up, and Diakomahalis is, as he tries to get away, kind of picks up, and Duke just sees the opportunity and threw him to his back and ends up getting the pin. Now, what is even more remarkable about that is the first time ever, 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 that Diakomahalis was pinned. And I had a couple people like, well, even they mentioned that or somebody mentioned at one point. I'm like, well, when they say ever, are they talking like international competition or like since college? And no, he was never pinned in a competition in wrestling, not in high school, college, freestyle wrestling competitions, not in elementary school. Not once in his career, competitive career, again, in the wrestling room, maybe at some point, but in terms of competitive bouts, even as an elementary school student, not once ever had he been pinned until Saturday. So PJ Duke, who was already bordering on legendary status. I mean, he was coming in with the type of hype that a David Taylor or I would say it was comparable to what like a Kerry Collette had. Well, now, I mean, this takes him to where Jordan Burroughs is like already proclaiming him the GOAT when he's not out of high school yet. Now we do have Jax Forrest will be coming up here against Vito Arujau in July in the last Final X bout, the last matchup to determine a world team spot. Forrest is actually, I think it's about 3 months younger, or maybe, now I'm forgetting, it might be 5 months about younger than PJ Duke. As of right now, pending the Forrest Arujau result, PJ Duke is the youngest world team member in U.S. history. And when you add that to the accolades and accomplishments he already has, yes, we are into legendary status before the guy even hits the college scene here at Penn State next year. It really was one of those between the JJ Spawn at the U.S. Open and PJ Duke at Final X. And there were some other examples that we could talk about, but those two things, I'm like, man, that is what sports can do for you. Is I am telling you, there was, I can pretty confidently say there was nobody outside of maybe PJ Duke and his coach, and maybe JJ Spawn and his caddy, and I'm saying maybe on both those counts, that believed going into the second period of the second match in the Duke Diakom Hollis bout, or going into the fourth hole of the final round at the U.S. Open. The betting odds, ESPN does those things where it's like, all right, this team now has a 90% chance of winning. This team, I am telling you, if they were doing that with each of these events, PJ Duke would have been at like 0.1% chance of winning the series. And I think most people would have said, well, that's a little high. I mean, you lost 10-0, you're down 9-2. That is a foregone conclusion. The idea that, all right, he's going to come back from a 9-2 deficit and beat this guy and then win a third match, like not fathomable at that point. And I would say the same thing with JJ Spawn. Now, golf, yep, things can go haywire, and we've seen it with the number of people on the leaderboard that were then in front of Spawn. And again, you get off to that type of start, Goon, and you're right. It's like, all right, man, this just isn't my day. I'm hitting rakes. I'm hitting flag sticks. I'm getting bad bounces all over the place. I've never won a major. Very easy to talk yourself into, hey, let's just try to have a decent day and get out of here and collect a nice paycheck. Inspirational on both fronts. And again, to me, just reaffirming why I think Americans love sports the way they do. It is this idea that you can overcome anything. It's why I think we love the Olympics so much, is there is story after story at the Olympics. And it's the stories, the personal stories. Like, I'm not a huge gymnastics fan. I mean, I like going to the Penn State meets. I like watching it at the Olympics, but I'm not following that stuff year round. I'm not glued to it. But you tell me the backstory, you get a local connection like Penn State had with men's gymnastics last year, then, yeah, man, then it becomes all in and you get fascinated. But even without any connection, when you hear the stories, oh, this person's overcome a childhood disease, overcame childhood drama, overcame this
little
or that.
Sick and
John
Cappelletti.
It is those inspirational moments that, again, are why we love sports, but it's also, I think, really why we love it is it gives all of us hope. It's like, well, yeah, man, I'm struggling in this or I'm struggling in that. Well, if this guy can do that, maybe I can go out and accomplish whatever the goal may be. And again, he can use it to motivate, if you're wanting to lose weight, if you're wanting to get a better job, if you're wanting to climb the career ladder, if there's a specific car that I've always wanted that. Well, work for it, figure it out. I do think sports can provide an inspiration like that, unlike anything else in our society, really.
I mean, you're talking about an 18-year-old kid taking on a man. You said Zane Rutherford. I mean, that's two generations ago for Penn State. Two classes, 8 years.
Well,
and that's how good Gianni Mahakis has been.
Yeah.
What? I mean, defend him. What do you think happened?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think a combination. Jordan Burroughs, he did look like he was fatigued in that second period of the second match, in particular, to me. But Jordan Burroughs said he was either fatigued or he lost focus or both. Jeez. This is the other thing in sports is those momentum shifts, Goon, and it is one of those things where you're watching something and you're like, oh, this team, they're just rolling. And then all of a sudden something happens and it's like, oh, wait a second. And then the other team gets rolling or the other individual gets rolling. And it's like all of a sudden it is difficult to change that mindset. Joe Paterno used to talk about the difficulty, and it wasn't that you were rooting against your team returning the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Obviously, it's great to have that happen.
I've said that.
But Joe Paterno would talk about that. He's like, it can be hard when that happens, when you take the opening kickoff and return it for a touchdown, to get your guys to realize, all right, yep, that's a great start. Like, our day isn't going to go like this, that going in. It's like, no, man, here we go. We're rolling.
First play of the Rose Bowl.
And that's the
worst thing that could have happened to us, because we were like, dude, we're going to win by 50.
Yeah.
This. Oh my God, we're going to kill these guys. We are awesome. We are so good. It was just like, you go into a game, you're nervous. You have all this nervous energy and this and that. And then in the first play of the game, your running back takes an 83-yard run for a touchdown. You're like, poof, this is easy.
Yeah.
And you lose all your nervousness, and then Oregon catches their breath and says, okay, we
that
got
happened.
This.
Now
we got to go out there and do this again.
Yep.
And they handled us for a quarter and a half after that.
Yeah.
That's perfect example of that.
Well, take a break here. I want to talk about something else that occurred over the sports weekend that I also think, when we talk about sports, we all envision those moments of, Bill Mazeroski, and you hit the home run in Game 7. Sometimes you just take the championship any way you can get it. You think of being the JJ spot out there. All right, U.S. Open on the line, 64.5 foot putt.
Close.
Here I go. Boom, I sink it. No, that's not the way you dream about doing what he did. You nail it right into the middle of the cup. But sometimes that's not the way it works out, and you still take the championship any way you can get it. And we'll talk about that when we return. This is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are coming to you from Quaker Steak and Lube, our normal home away from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But again, this will be our last show today for 3 weeks. We'll be back on July 8th with our next edition of the Goon and Ironhead show. Again, back after this.
Summer is here. Is your vehicle going to make it on those summer trips? Don't disappoint your family. We want to see you in a Kia at Lion Country Kia.
Want to see you in a Kia.
Hurry in into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
The State College Spikes are back for a 6-game homestand, Tuesday, June 17th through Sunday the 22nd. The Spikes take on the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and the Trenton Thunder during the stretch with a full slate of daily value promotions. Plus the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Army, Navy, and Marines Friday, June 20th. And fireworks presented by the Central PA Autism Community Saturday, June 21st on Autism Acceptance Night. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
The Fox,
your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on a Tuesday afternoon. Again, our last show for a few weeks here, actually. It will be back July 8th after today's show and be ready and raring to go at that time. Again, we have Pirates baseball for you coming up on Thursday here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. And then both Goon and I are out of town that following week. And then we traditionally take off the July 4th week. So we will do so again this year and be back again on July 8th. If you did not watch the PIAA baseball and softball championship games, some really good action, some really good teams, great talent. Bald Eagle area's softball team locally here lost an absolute heartbreaker in 13 innings. on a sacrifice fly. It was a terrific game. Both teams had several opportunities where you're like, all right, here they go. And nope, it just kept going and going. And finally, in the 13th, Pine Grove does win the AAA title. But what a season, what a career for the seniors on that Bald Eagle area team as they bookend their freshman and senior campaigns with championship games. Unfortunately, coming up short in both of them and getting to the semifinals each year of their careers. But great game there. The game, though, that really captured my attention, and we kind of had it on in the background, and then I started getting more and more into it, was North Penn and Cedar Cliff in the 6A championship game in baseball. And this game was scoreless through 7, through 9, through 12. They get to the 13th inning. North Penn unable to score in the top of the 13th. Cedar Cliff is threatening in the bottom of the 13th, gets the bases loaded. And this is one of those things where, again, when you dream about winning a baseball championship, right, in your backyard as a kid, the dream is always you belt a home run, or maybe at the very least you're smacking a good single. Yep. Hey, maybe you even take a walk. Run. It's a good eye at the plate. What you don't envision is a balk off victory. That is what happened at the end of that game, and it was one of those things. Like, I don't think anybody really, I think Cedar Cliff, if you got truth serum in them, now they are going to celebrate and you won a state championship. Of course, you celebrate. But if you got truth serum in those kids, like, would you rather have just had a good solid hit there or a sac fly or yes. But that sometimes that's not the way it works. And again, there's no question about the balk was the right call. The catcher even, they pointed it out on PCN, the catcher, as soon as the pitcher makes the move, he's like, oh, and the umpire makes the call and he knows it. So it's the right call. It immediately took me back to, and again, in wrestling, when you dream about these scenarios in the different sports, right, it's always the 64.5 foot putt to win it that you sink.
That's true.
But you take it any way you can get it. And the thing that was funny to me about this game on Saturday or Friday night is when Matt Brown won his national championship for Penn State Wrestling. He was wrestling Matt Wilps of Pitt in the finals, and it was a terrific match. They go to overtime, sudden victory, and Brown, Casey Cunningham's in the corner and sees his singlet get grabbed, and he's like, that's the point. The official didn't see it. They review it, and there's no question. I mean, when you go back and look at it, he grabs the singlet. You're not allowed to do that. So you win on the penalty point. And again, Matt Brown, very happy, takes the title and celebrates the championship. And at the time, I had a couple of people ask me my thoughts on it. I'm like, listen, the rules are the rules. You take the championship any way you can get it. But the comparison I made was it would be like winning a World Series with a balk. Like, you don't say, no, thanks, I'm not going to take it. You go celebrate the World Series. It's just not how you envision that moment occurring.
Either way.
And then here we have, these years later, we do have a balk deciding not a World Series, but a state championship baseball game here in Pennsylvania. So Cedar Cliff does appropriately celebrate, but that is, I mean, there is heartbreak. Like, it was heartbreaking for Bald Eagle area, but it's a sac fly that beats you. It's like, well, they got the run in. Like, you feel like you gave, and I mean, honestly, I do agonize for that pitcher. Like, that is that has got to be the only run of the game. I mean, it's a 1-0 win for Cedar Cliff on a balk in the 13th inning.
I didn't see it, Jeff. How
he shuffles his feet.
No. I saw the balk.
Okay.
But how far down the line was this pitcher? We're in the 13th inning. Was he like just give me an inning, or was he in there for a while?
No, he had been in there. I want to say, you know what? I don't remember that for sure. I think he had been in there
hanging in. I mean,
I want to say the second or third. This was his. You know what? I'm actually forgetting that part of it. I remember him coming in, but now I don't remember when he came in. Just a heartbreaking way for North Penn. And again, not the way you envision it if you're Cedar Cliff, but it's also sports. Again, the rules are rules, and you can't obviously not enforce them in the biggest moments. That's just unfortunate for North Penn in this particular case that's what it came down to. But it was a terrific game to watch. I mean, very similar to the Bald Eagle area Pine Grove softball game in that both teams you felt like had some opportunities to break through there and just could not. And then for a balk to be what decides it is just obviously very tough on the North Penn side of things.
That's crushing for the kid.
Yes.
For the kid. I wonder how he's doing, we talk about it. Mental health
hopefully,
stuff,
hopefully you are able to keep it in perspective. And I think sometimes that's easier said than done. But at the end of the day, again, you're going out there playing a game. There's always a winner. There's always a loser. There's always something that happens that leads to a victory and a loss. And hopefully everybody involved is able to keep that in perspective. Hey, you had a great moment. You were able to be out there in a championship setting. And it happens. Again, we're humans and mistakes get made.
Reminds me of Vinny Salvucci versus Walnut Heights in the Ampipe Walnut Heights game in 1983.
Back in the day.
Fumbled on the goal line. Stephen George made a great play, It's all the right moves.
Yeah, all of
Salvucci with the fumble.
All of the different ways that you can win and lose games. And
hey, the batter got an RBI out of that.
Part of it is whether or not you, again, seize that opportunity. And again, part of it was Cedar Cliff getting a runner into position where that balk was the difference between winning and losing that particular state championship game. By the way, quite a weekend for Penn State and I guess really Happy Valley, but for Penn State in particular, they had the PIAA baseball and softball and lacrosse, boys and girls lacrosse, and boys volleyball championships all on the Penn State campus in the Thursday through Saturday time frame. And then you had over 1,000 folks competing in the triathlon, which is the Ironman Happy Valley, which is just an unbelievable event. The swimming, the biking, and the running, that wrapped up at Beaver Stadium on Sunday. And hopefully they'll get that event back. That was the final year of the 3-year contract. And sounds like they're working toward trying to renew a deal to bring that back or keep it here in Happy Valley in future years. Some other things that are in the works as, again, I do think this area becomes a bigger and bigger tourist attraction. I did see an interesting story along those lines, and it just made me, we're certainly not at that point right now. I don't think. I haven't heard anybody complain about, boy, we just have too many tourists here. But there are some European countries that are now protesting there are too many tourists. And in some of these smaller areas, it is crowding out the locals, and they're genuinely upset about it. And initially, I'm like, "Oh, come on, you're going to try to drive away." But the more they explain the story, it's like, "Oh, I can understand being a little."
I have some friends from
miffed.
Nashville who have said that they have people that they grew up with who have businesses in and around Broadway.
Yeah,
that the taxes and everything is just out of control. But they're just done. They just
well,
pack up
and this
go.
is I can see it. Yeah, I can too. Again, I'm not. It was just an interesting because there's been a lot of movement to increase tourism, and we're seeing it, and we're seeing very positive benefits of it here locally. Again, Penn State is a great draw, but when you get some of these other events, high school events and other international events and kids events, lots of youth events that are held here on the Penn State campus, and even, with C3 Sports and the center and some of the other facilities that we have off of the Penn State campus around the area that provide opportunities for others to come and explore and enjoy this area. Again, that is going to remain a big part here, a growing part of this community moving forward.
We've talked about this in the past, and that is, what does Penn State College, University Park have to do to get an NCAA regional basketball game, do this or that, some kind of.
Well, I think they're heading there with the hotels and the
Correct.
restaurants and all of that.
I heard, and I don't know if this is true, this could be completely wrong, but it was on a podcast that I saw a highlight of it on Twitter. And they said Indianapolis and Buffalo are very similar sized cities. So why does Buffalo never get a Super Bowl? If they build a dome, would they get a Super Bowl? And the one guy says, you know how many hotels the city of Indianapolis has? He said 45,000 rooms. You know how many city of Buffalo has? Right? 4,500.
Yeah.
Now think about that. Like, holy heck, because they're not asking the locals to be going to the game. That is an imported game, everything about it. So that just came up because I was thinking about, we want a regional. I want a Sweet 16, like an opening weekend for basketball here. I think we deserve it, but it has always been. But I've always said we don't have the hotels, and people say, "Oh, how the hell do you fill a 100,000 seat stadium?" And I was like, "Well, you have to realize you got 16 teams. Well, I guess you wouldn't have 16 if you had a regional. You'd have 8 teams, right? And then Sunday basketball regional, so you'd have to have 8 different, like 4/5-star hotels. Do we have that for each university to have for their teams and their fans? We will soon with the 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, you'd have. Yeah, it'd be 4 teams, but the fan bases of those teams would be. It'd be 4 regionals.
Well, it'd be 8.
No,
there's 2 games in the afternoon, and 2 games in the nighttime, and then they play again Saturday. Whatever it is, I understand. But I've always wanted that. Yeah. I mean, I definitely always wanted to see something like that up here in State College and integration. But I mean, is Bryce Jordan sexy enough for that? I don't know. I hate these big cities who get it. Like Pitt gets it all the time, Yeah. They're a bigger city. I get it, obviously. But I would enjoy that because that was a great weekend. I haven't been here the last couple of years for the PIAAs. But I have in the past very much thoroughly enjoyed, like when all the soccer, the lacrosse team comes up, the baseball teams, the softball teams, but it's pretty cool. Usually I have a team that I know or know somebody whose kid's on one of the teams, and that didn't happen this year. Well, Boulder area, I have one person, but they're not getting food or whatever or hotels. So,
yeah, it is going to be interesting to see too, as everything continues to evolve, if you will. The number of different events that I think Beaver Stadium can hold once everything gets finished up there, between the NHL game that's been talked about forever, NFL preseason game that has been talked about for a while, the possibility of having a volleyball match, a women's volleyball match in there, the possibility of having a wrestling match in there, and the opportunities there to create new interest and new opportunities. And, who's to say what else you could put in there, or the Jordan Center, or Medler Field at LeBron Park. And again, I think the good thing about where Penn State is right now is I think there's a real willingness, once the stadium gets completed, and let's at least entertain any and all of this. And I'm not saying all of it will occur, but my guess is, like, over a 5 or 6 year period, most of that stuff will occur. I have got to believe we're going to see an NHL game at Beaver Stadium, like, within the next decade. I think you'll see a women's volleyball and a wrestling match. And I think there's at least the possibility there of getting an NFL preseason game because of all of the interest and the revenue that can generate for all involved.
I know how the NFL is set up. And those preseason games are the home team. That's their bread and butter, bud. I don't see the Steelers, because the Steelers don't share with the Eagles that they played. If it was a Steelers home game, they're going to get the revenue. The Eagles won't get crap. This is where I say that would be the issue.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be. That's what I'm saying, because you'd have it at Beaver Stadium.
But someone would have to give up a preseason home game.
I got news for you, Skippy. Are you paying attention to what the NFL is doing with regular season games?
Yeah, the Eagles had a home game in Brazil last year.
Yes. That is not going to be an issue. Yes. Preseason to get more revenue? You betcha. They'll jump at it.
Well, you got to pay a season ticket.
A break here and be back with much more. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
Summer is here. Is your vehicle going to make it on those summer trips? Don't disappoint your family. We want to see you in a Kia at Lion Country Kia.
Want to see you in a Kia.
Hurry into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
The State College Spikes are back for a 6-game homestand, Tuesday, June 17th through Sunday the 22nd. The Spikes take on the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and the Trenton Thunder during the stretch with a full slate of daily value promotions. Plus the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Army, Navy, and Marines Friday, June 20th. And fireworks presented by the Central PA Autism Community Saturday, June 21st on Autism Acceptance Night. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
Here on a Tuesday afternoon, again, our last show for a few weeks here, and plenty to discuss. Penn State football continues to do very well on the recruiting front, and it has been a pretty quiet offseason, which is good news. The hype train is definitely pouring ahead full speed here, and I think across the board, Goon, that expectations for as great as this past year for Penn State athletics as a whole, Penn State football in particular was, I think on both fronts, the upcoming year could be even better. Certainly, Penn State is getting a lot of national attention as a legit national title contender. I think most have Penn State as one of the 4 or 5 right now that seem to be garnering a lot of national title attention heading into the upcoming season. And I think,
and they're not being talked about as a surprise.
Yep. And I think when you, and you know, the recruiting class here for 2026 remains a top 7-8 class. They just got the defensive end, the edge rusher, that I guess, you know, the hybrid, if you will, end linebacker, edge rusher. But they are at a point now, Goon, where it does feel like they are going to be perennial contenders. Whether or not they ever get over the hump and satisfy the fans, again, we've talked about it. There's a lot of things that go into that, and I think it will happen, but yeah, you know, nobody knows with certainty as we sit here right now. What I do feel confident and comfortable in saying is that Penn State, much more often than not here, at least for the foreseeable future, and again, things can change in a hurry. I understand that, but with the recruiting they have done, with the team they have, with the culture that I think is established here, it feels like at least for the next 4 or 5 years, Penn State is going to be in the mix. Again, maybe next year more so than the following, maybe not, but you don't really see anything developing where it's like, all right, yeah, there's going to be they might be good this year, but then look out, because they're stacking good class after good class, and the development under James Franklin has been pretty consistently top-notch. And I think the other part of it, Goon, is you are seeing this thing kind of play out now the way we largely thought it would, into the haves and the have-nots. And there is a group of in-between. But Penn State is in the haves. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be in that position, and a lot of hard work that has got into having Penn State in that position, and I understand and recognize that. But Penn State is clearly in the haves category when it comes to the haves and have-nots and the overall big picture.
Yep.
Now, doesn't mean that they have as much or more than some of the other top dogs, but certainly more than the overwhelming majority of quote unquote big time, Division I athletic departments and football programs. But it's not just football. The hockey program, if you have been paying attention over the last couple of weeks here, they are getting 5-star recruits and transfers by the bundle. And I am really curious to see when the preseason rankings for hockey come out. I think Penn State is going to be the favorite to win the national title in the upcoming season with what they have now in the fold. These last two recruits are both likely going to be one and done players because both are projected to be first round NHL draft picks. Not NHL draft picks, first round. And yes, I mean, these are like elite players. You have Matt Godowski, guy's son that's transferred.
Penn State didn't abuse or didn't get them hurt, took care of them, all that stuff. So I wonder if a lot of these guys who are, they are potential NHL. These guys are high top 15 NHL picks next season.
Yep.
They're committing to Penn State to come down here and play for a year. It's amazing, and it's great. They can keep going with that. But, Matt Godowski coming in from Army, which is great, which guy's son. He was one of the Hobie Baker Award finalists. I mean, You're right. They're going to come out next year. I mean, with what they have coming back, with what they have coming in, the amount of talent that they have right there.
Yeah.
Do not be surprised if they are an overwhelming number one seed, one projected overall. That was that good of a recruiting class these guys are bringing in. Just, you're hot, go with it, baby.
Yeah.
They're rolling.
And again, just the momentum that the Penn State Athletics Department has right now is really impressive. There are not many programs, in fact, and there may be one or two of the higher profile ones. There's not one that doesn't feel, at the very least, like it's on an upward trajectory. Now, again, in a couple cases, like how can wrestling go upward from where it is? Well, I actually think we may see that next season because you may see that team if it can stay healthy. And
I want
again,
to go back to that real quick.
Going to be some things that need to go its way, but they have a chance to set for a third straight season the scoring record at the NCAA tournament. So, but you look at baseball and softball and some of the, they have three players that are, Penn State baseball has three players. They have the combine, the Major League Baseball combine on down here with the MLB network. I mean, three Penn State players are there. Only Oregon in the Big Ten has as many players in the combine. I mean, that program.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, that program is I think on the verge of taking that next step and being a serious force on the national front. I think softball is in much the same position. Obviously, women's soccer, women's volleyball. Women's volleyball just got a couple of big name recruits for the following year as well. Yes, that was a pretty cool reveal, pretty cool ceremony that they had at Rec Hall, where the last year's Penn State women's national championship volleyball squad got their championship rings. But again, there's just a really good vibe, and even the basketball programs are coming off a disappointing season. What Mike Rhodes is putting together here is special. And if he can keep it together, and I think he can, I think he will. I think they're in for some really good times here as well. But it's just a really good vibe right now. But again, it all starts with football. And Goon, I think when you look at where this the football team, the football program is right now, coming off of a season where, again, if a play goes differently in that Notre Dame game, who knows? I mean, the what if game is always it's fun to kick around, but I mean, they were right there at the end of the day. They had as good of a chance as anybody, and I think certainly they're going to be in that position again this year. And I think that football program has, again, made the complete commitment, and to the chagrin of some, and I can understand it. I really can. It's like, come on, right? We're spending that much money, but we're in the day and age we are in. And if you want to be a big-time player, and I think at the end of the day, the majority of Penn State fans, and I know the administration and the folks in the program, they want to be big-time. Then you got to play the big-time game. And I think Penn State recognizes that, is doing that, and I think they are giving themselves every opportunity here to, again, and that's all you can do at the end of the day, is be a contender, be a factor, and then take advantage of the opportunity when it's there. But there's always some things that are out of your control that just need to fall your way in order to finish that thing off.
So this Friday is a commitment of two guys, Joey O'Brien and Grayson McEwen. They're both from LaSalle.
Oh, okay.
They're both top 10. Joey O'Brien is number one player in the state, so it is a paramount thing with the Penn State with James, the best day in state. So it'll be very interesting to see Friday when they make their commitments of where they're going to go. It's Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas, and Penn State. Here are some things at home. I don't know if they're all true, but it is just insane with the recruiting thing nowadays. It truly is. I mean, actually, I gotta say, I gotta appreciate this one, because it doesn't seem rushed. These guys actually took 4 official visits to their colleges and stuff, where the last 10 or 15 years, it just seemed like guys were taking one visit because they were committing early other places. Where I like what these guys have done, and that is going out to see Texas, going out to see Oregon, going to see Penn State, going to see Notre Dame, going out for weekends. So the two of them were at Notre Dame this past weekend. So, does that say something? That's the last trip they go on. But what's funny is I've talked to people at home who know the mom and dad, actually, and then the kids they know, through them. And I'm like, have they talked money? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, they've been through all this. I mean, it's unbelievable that you have to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And is the money right? Is this or that right? Is somebody coming in with a huge amount of money? And they're like, oh, no, the money's all good. It's all the same. And you're just like, what the hell, man? It's just a weird world. But, yeah, Friday is a huge day for Penn State with O'Brien and McEwen. So Grayson, the left tackle, he's 6'8", 270. And one of my best friends, I played high school ball with, his kid's the center. Grayson was the left tackle at 6'8". The center was 5'6", 290. So they were like freshman and sophomore together playing next to each other. And my buddy called me and said, dude, this kid is you. He looks and plays exactly like you. He's 6'8", tall, gangly, but he's the meanest kid on the field, and he's the fastest kid on the field being that big.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's the thing, is that was the issue I had growing up, was I was always so tall and gangly and played high. But then once I stopped growing and I could literally fill out, it's a big difference. So this kid's now 270 and he's getting bigger. But I'm watch videos of it. He's athletic as hell, man. But I see him without pads on, and I'm like, he looks like a volleyball player. He's like that tall and skinny, but he is every bit of 6'8". So big weekend for Penn State. They're both announcing Friday. So I hope they both
keep
come.
the momentum rolling.
And I actually called the high school coach, and I having driven back in from my in-laws coming west to east on 80. And I always sat there and said, back when I was playing and when I was done playing, when I was going to Indianapolis and stuff like that and talking to guys, a guy named Scotty Slutzker was from New Jersey, and he went to Iowa. I said, how the hell did you get to Iowa? He's like, I don't know. They had a good offer, this and that. So, but he goes, it was the worst freaking part of driving was driving on Interstate 80 and seeing a sign 4 hours after he started in North Jersey, State College, Penn State. And he goes, if I had just come there, I'd be here, but I still got 11 more hours to drive to get to Iowa City. So, and he goes, that was always the worst, absolute horrendous part about it. He goes, I love my time at Iowa. Don't get me wrong. I met my wife there, all this and all that. He goes, but there was many times driving on that road saying, God, I wish I came to Penn State. This drive would be so much easier. So that would be something if I could get a hold of those two kids and say, listen, when you're driving, you drive right past Penn State on Interstate 80, and you still got a 9-hour drive to get to South Bend, Indiana, you're going to think you wanted to come here. So, but they're really pushing, Pennsylvania State's in Pennsylvania. I hope that they both come here. I truly, really hope that they do.
Yeah. That would be very
huge.
Cool, and it would
Joey O'Brien,
keep that momentum that Penn State has right now.
You're a Steelers fan, so I get it. But who is the I just forgot his name. The safety or corner, Humphreys, for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh yeah,
he's like 6'4".
Yep.
Joey O'Brien's 6'3.5".
Is that
195
right?
pounds. He's a wide receiver, but he's a defensive back by position.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's who exactly it looks like. 100% it looks like Humphrey from the Baltimore Ravens. So let's hope they both come here.
That would be
huge. It'd be a huge. And this
all
being
right
Letterman's football
get
weekend.
there.
And we got 3 Glenside guys here already that are up here this weekend, so we'd be celebrating.
Yeah, that would be all right. No doubt about it. One other thing I did want to get into, just the general sports. Maybe we'll get John Gondak, the track and field coach for Penn State, in here. I watched some of the track and field at the NCAA championships over the weekend as well. And every sport obviously has its own scoring system. What I would like to know maybe a little bit more of the thinking behind, or how the scoring came about in track and field, because like in wrestling, the scoring goes up exponentially if you get on the podium, but you do get points for advancing in the tournament. Now it's a single point in the championship bracket and a half point in the consolation bracket. So it's not a ton of points, but it's points. I didn't realize, or I had forgotten, if I feel like somewhere I must have known that before, but in track and field, you first team All-Americans that is the only point scoring that occurs at the track and field championships. So I think it's 10 points. I'm going to get this mixed up now, but I think it's 10 for first and then 8 for second. And then it just goes 6-1 for third through 8th. So like Penn State had, I think, was it 3 or 4 now? At least 3 ninth place finishes. Penn State had 0 points in both the men's and the women's, but they had athletes who are second team All-Americans, but they scored no points for Penn State. outside looking in, and again, I'm not pretending to be a track and field expert by any measure, but it feels to me like you ought to get some score, like a point or a half point for your team if you are in that top 16, or if you advance past the semifinals. I don't know. I just think that it's odd. The other thing that was odd, and I saw some different in the track and field community, some different reactions to it. So there was a shared national title this year. You had Texas A&M and USC on the men's side, both finished with 41 points. And I think it was Arkansas that was a point behind at 40. And there was drama in the 4x400 relay where I think it was Texas A&M finished second and USC finished eighth. And obviously they both needed those points to finish in the tie. If USC had been able to finish seventh or A&M had won the title, either of them obviously could have then won the team championship. But the discussion that I saw was, listen, that we need to have, nobody likes ties. For as much as we like, again, the balk isn't the way you dream about having a championship decided, but it's like, well, I mean, it was a balk. That's the game. That's the championship. And at least we are satisfied as sports fans when there's a winner and a loser. We are just dissatisfied. You feel like you didn't get a real resolution if an event finishes in a tie, and there's no tiebreaker. And I saw some different suggestions on, hey, there should be some sort of criteria, either the fastest cumulative time of these races, or different people had different ideas, but you shouldn't have a tie at the end of the day. But again, if the scoring is, and it obviously is the way it is right now, I don't think there is a fair way, in my mind. And I read through some of the accounts, and there were some people, well, just have the coaches. I'd do 100-yard dash. And no, that was half kidding. And it's like, well, that would be entertaining anyway, depending on who the coaches are. But if you have like a discus thrower as your head coach of one team and a sprinter, maybe you have to do both and take some sort of a
I have a question.
Cumulative score. But yeah, it was unsatisfying.
Sure.
I think to a large majority of the fan bases, even though, again, both fan bases hey, we won the national championship in 2025.
What would make me mad would be the Arkansas team. Well, we're only a half a point behind. We should be part of that overtime too. Because that people are going to say that. No, but I honestly have a true question.
Yeah.
How many field events are there? Is that part of it's track
and
field, right?
Correct.
So what if you took all the track points and all your field points, and if you win both, you should win the national title? Could be, I'm just throwing it out there. Like a cumulative type of thing.
Well, that is the way they do it now.
No, but if like head-to-head, who had more points in the field events, okay, you won that section. Oh, but they won. And then it goes to the second tiebreaker. I don't know. But it really goes down to like that, huh? It's just sitting there saying at least they have a chance to play for it. I mean, they don't just award it to Nebraska in 1994 and you don't have a shot. So it's not like that in track and field. No, but I'm with you. I don't know what that, and that it is a not satisfying dish.
Yeah, and I also, and I don't know. And listen, there's people that have proposed tinkering in different ways with the wrestling scoring too. So I think all sports probably have some, hey, I don't think this is quite right. I think. I really do. I like the scoring format. I could argue if I had my druthers, there'd be a couple of slight changes I would make. to the overall scoring.
But
But
overall
not,
scoring,
but not
in competition, not head to head.
Correct. No, to the tournament scoring.
So the way I remember it, and the way I believe it is, I'm going to play dumb, so you could actually, congratulations, you could scold them. But you're awarded your points upon each win. So
yes, whatever points you have assured your
that
team.
guy has your opponent has those same 4 points.
Yeah,
and then the next person gets 6 points.
Yeah,
next round. With the guy.
Yeah, now
the
track
loser.
and field, I don't know if they do that. If
That's
you
crazy.
get
You
the
only
because like in the finals of a race, you have the 8 competitors, so you could award everybody a point because you know that the last place finisher for all the good that would do. I don't know that, and they may already do that, but it also feels to me, and again, it probably is good that they do it the way they do it. It feels like, though, if you set a new record in something, there ought to be some kind of a button. Like if you just ran the fastest 100 meters in NCAA history, you get 10 points. If you're the slowest 100-meter champion, and you still got to win the race, I understand that, you get 10 points. And maybe that's the way it should be. It's hey, you're just winning the race this year against this field's competition. To me, it feels like there should be you get an extra half point or something if you are setting a new NCAA record, not necessarily a track record or a team record, but if you're setting a new standard in the sport, I don't know. It feels like your team ought to get a little more benefit out of that. And I haven't thought that all the way through. It just as I was watching it over the weekend, I just wonder why, because I didn't know. I had to look up how they were doing the scoring because I'm like, well, it just doesn't seem like a lot of points for as many athletes as these teams are having in these championship events. And then I'm reading through it. It's like, well, yeah, you get, I mean, not just, but you get 10 points for a champion, 8. And then I think I have that right. It's 10, 8. And then it's just 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the last 6 places. So you do get a little extra bump there for being in the top 2, I guess. But even that, like the NCAA wrestling really rewards a champion, an individual champion. The difference between first and second is 4 points. So it's 16 for first, 12 for second. And again, the only tweaking that I think if I was in charge, and I wouldn't necessarily want it done now because I like having records that you can compare accurately. And there's been changes over the years, so it's already not the way I would like it. I'd like to just set up the scoring the way it should be, quote unquote, and just leave it alone forever. But the one thing I feel like they don't do with tournament wrestling is reward pins enough. You get two points out of your team score for a pin, 1.5 points for a technical fall, and 1 point for a major decision. To me, especially if you're wanting to incentivize the pin, like I think the pin should be 3, technical fall 1.5 points, and 1. I would leave it the same, except I would just add another full point for getting the pin. But then you get into, because I brought this up many years ago to somebody that is really knowledgeable on the records of wrestling, and their concern was, and they weren't thrilled with my answer, but so I would make it 3 for a pin and a pin only. If it's a disqualification or like you stall somebody out, I would still leave it at the 2. And that we debated that one a little bit, and I'm like, I'm not even sure I completely am on my own side of the argument here, because if you stall somebody out, because then you could incentivize, if you're in a close team race, you could incentivize an opponent to, hey, I'm just not going to get pinned, and I can take the stall out. there's a scenario that you could construct, and I'm like, I don't know how likely that scenario is, but okay. What I don't like the idea of, at least with the medical forfeit, that you get that extra third point. But the argument is, well, then again, you're not given the opportunity. If you're a pinner, maybe you could have gotten that pin, and now because your guy can't go, you're penalized for not. I'm like, yeah, that one I struggled with a little bit. I still think I would want just the pin, maybe the pin and stall out. But anyways, completely off topic. But I do think it's interesting the way different sports compile scoring. I just got into I thought it was an interesting discussion on the volleyball scoring. And I remember Russ Rose was very opposed, and I was with him. And it's like, you are changing the entire sport for TV with the rally scoring, where you don't have to serve to get a point. Now, we don't think anything of it. I will tell you, if I had my druthers, I still think that's the better way to find out who's truly the better team. But it takes a lot longer. It's not as appealing to a audience that likes to see scoring. Yeah. We don't care how the points are going up. We just want to see the points going up, talking about American sports fans. And so you certainly cannot argue that it's not been successful. It's much like the tie-breaking stuff in baseball. I'm still not a fan of it, but have I adjusted to it? Do I recognize the appeal of it? And yeah, I will say the pitch clock, I still, if I had my druthers, if I was ruling the world, we wouldn't have it, but I'm much more okay with it than I thought I would be.
Dude,
much
that
more
game
okay
I went to in Pittsburgh?
Yep.
2 hours exactly.
Oh, yes.
I've never been to a baseball game that fast. A Major League Baseball game was 2 hours.
Yep.
They only had like 6 beers.
Got to drink faster, Goon.
Shenanigans.
You gotta do a better job with the pregame, is what it comes down to.
I did that too. So
that's what it comes down to.
I was flithered. We were good to go.
Take a break here. We are back with one final segment for a few weeks here after this on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
Summer is here. Is your vehicle going to make it on those summer trips? Don't disappoint your family. We want to see you in a Kia at Lion Country Kia.
We want to see you in a Kia.
Hurry into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
The State College Spikes are back for a 6-game homestand, Tuesday, June 17th through Sunday the 22nd. The Spikes take on the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and the Trenton Thunder during the stretch with a full slate of daily value promotions. Plus the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Army, Navy, and Marines Friday, June 20th. And fireworks presented by the Central PA Autism Community Saturday, June 21st on Autism Acceptance Night. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
Back here on a Tuesday afternoon, and one final segment before a lengthy hiatus.
Well-deserved vacation, Jeffy. Well-deserved.
We'll go with that. Absolutely.
We've been at it really hard this last day or
yes,
1 or 2 days in the last 3 weeks.
It's been a wild couple of hours of just exertion on our part. Again, once we get back here in July, kind of full throttle ahead as we work our way toward football season and all of the excitement that will be coming with that. And I do think, Goon, it just feels like that. I know there's pressure, and depending on who you listen to, it's it needs to win now. This is the opportunity. I think James Franklin, now to go back to the confidence piece that we started with, I think he is comfortable and confident that they are in position to go win it. Again, whether or not they win it remains to be seen. But I don't
got to go right for him.
Yep, but I don't think that there's. I think if they don't win, it's not going to be because anybody in that room doubts that that's where they're headed to this season. Again, if you don't truly believe you're going to be a champion, you won't be a champion. But believing you're going to be a champion doesn't assure you of being a champion. Champions all believed that they were going to be a champion. They had that inner confidence. There's a lot of other teams and individuals that had that same confidence that it didn't work out for one reason or another. So it doesn't assure it, but I think it does put you in a position where you can do it. I think when you look at the overall talent level that continues to go up, and I think, again, kind of across the board, I think that wrestling room keeps getting better and better. The hockey room this year is absurd, Goon. I mean, what that team has in terms of talent in the upcoming season, We certainly have not seen
picked up last year.
Yes, we've not seen anything like it. This is another thing that I think people are going to have to, and it's different in different sports, but in hockey in particular here, we're not accustomed to seeing the one and done, certainly at Penn State in hockey. But I think, to your point, I think when you establish, it's just like James Franklin with the assistant coaches. All right. It's like, man, you don't want to lose an assistant, but you keep getting good assistants and they are ambitious. Yep, they're going to leave and take head coaching positions. The thing is, other young, ambitious, really good coaches see that, and it's like, oh, I want to go to Penn State. I want to be part of that because I know it can get me to the next step. And in the process of getting to the next step, I can be an asset to that Penn State program. I think it's the same thing here when you look at what Guy Godowski is doing. I suspect there are going to be, man, I'd rather just do it with, I'd rather just do it. And again, there's different ways to get to the same objective. But if you can get this type of talent, I mean, you go get it. Like you take it. And when you have, like you said, you see the way guys were handled, treated last year and what the result was. Well, now, like, oh, yeah, man, we had a great that was a great season, but now we're losing all of these guys because they're all one and done, except guess what? The next round of one and done guys are looking at that and saying, "Ooh, that looks like a pretty attractive place." Those guys are going where
playoff game last year from at Penn State.
Well,
had to have been like, "Oh my God, I want to be part of that."
Yes, and that's the thing. That facility. Thank you, Terry Pagola.
Yes,
that
sir.
Facility is phenomenal, and the atmosphere in that facility, thank you, dear fans and Roar Zone, is as good, if not better, than anywhere in the country. So, yeah, if you're looking for that year and you're a superstar, that's a pretty attractive place to be. And if you're going to be able to add a championship to your resume, all the better, right? Like that's, yeah, I might as well, while I'm here.
That's a good little bet next year.
Go ahead and take it.
Take wrestling out of the equation. Which Penn State varsity team do you think will win the next national title?
Oh, the next one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good question.
Yeah. Because I think women's soccer is going to be in the mix.
To figure this out.
Yep, I think women's soccer is going to be in the mix. I think women's volleyball is going to be perennially in the mix now. Obviously, football, but I think women's soccer would be the first to finish up. Am I right about that? I think I'm right about that. I might not be right about that. Of those, between football, women's volleyball, football, like the fall sports.
Women's soccer does finish first.
But I think women's soccer probably has the strongest competition. Women's volleyball is probably pretty close in terms of the strongest competition. But with what they have brought in and what they obviously return, to me, they're pretty clearly one of the top 3 or 4 teams anyway going into next season. Women's soccer, again, could very well win the title, but it's probably more like 7 or 8 teams there that you're like, yeah, I could see any of those.
It's about a
football going into the season, and you don't know how it's going to play out.
Nope.
I think there's probably about 5 programs that most experts in college football would tell you, I think the national champion is going to come from one of these 4 or 5 schools. Doesn't mean they're right. I understand that. But I think most would tell you that, yeah, I think Penn State is one of the contenders. Ohio State is one of the contenders. Texas is certainly one of the contenders. Oregon, I think, is one of the contenders. So that's Georgia. The thing. You have Georgia and Clemson is getting a lot of early season love. So 6 anyway, that I think most would consider the likely contenders. But again, could a USC put things together? Could
Michigan?
Could Miami or could North Carolina catch
Alabama.
lightning in a bottle with Bill Belichick? Yes. And other schools that were probably not, Texas A&M. I mean, there's some other schools there like, I don't know exactly where they fit into the picture. Exactly. So, but I think Penn State, again, the schools I've seen as preseason number ones right now, I'm trying to think. I don't know that I've seen Ohio State. I've seen Ohio State ranked higher than Penn State in at least a poll. But they were, I think that was Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, if I'm remembering that right. I don't think I've seen Ohio State picked as number one going into next season as the favorite. Texas and Penn State, I've seen a lot of different polls with each of those schools. I have seen Oregon get a number one vote. But I think that's about it in terms of number one. Now,
a lot of Texas, a lot of Penn State.
It's just
State.
People,
so
people project.
Jen just showed up here. She said her daughter was on the Bald Eagle softball team, so I gave her a little text earlier to say, "Hey, sorry to hear about your."
What a great game!
She's got two
what
daughters.
A great season.
They both lost their senior year in the title game.
Yeah, it was a special run for Bald Eagle.
I know I'm sorry to completely jump off because I like that question I posed, but it is that small town community had a great run there for 4 or 5 years where you didn't have the 1 and 2 age. You really don't have the Catholic schools and Christian schools and private schools that are really just dominating that level as of yet.
Yeah.
So you're happy for a team like that, but there's a team right there. You get Bald Eagle. Say they go to the state final and they play a private school from Pittsburgh or Philadelphia and they lose 22-6. It's like, well, that was horrible. That's the taste they get left in their mouth the rest of their life. So, good for them. Good for Bald Eagle. Good people over there. Very good people. Good teams. So, I like the question. I mean, I really do. I mean, women's soccer, you're right. Women's volleyball and football, they're bang 3 for 3. But another question is, has the athletic director of the year come out yet? And has Pat been crowned or not? I haven't read.
I don't think it's come out yet.
Because I haven't heard who. I mean, homeboy better be up there.
Yeah.
With the year that they had this year, and then it keeps going, man.
Yeah, they are in very good position.
Pat's first question is, all right, how do we get back here? How do we do this again?
Yep. A couple of other quick notes. We will have live coverage of the Leicester Lumber Football Classic coming up here on Friday night. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff at Rogers Stadium in Bellefonte. 12 Center County players, I believe, are on the North roster for that game. So our coverage on Friday will begin at 6:45 here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. That is always a fun game and a great opportunity for some of those guys. It'll be their last football experience in pads. Others, it'll be the stepping stone to a college career. And again, we'll have coverage with Todd and Norm Brown starting at 6:45 on Friday night here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. And again, we will have this will be our last show with the Goon and Ironhead show until Tuesday, July 8th. And so we will have Pirates baseball for you on Thursday afternoon. That's why we don't have a show Thursday. And then we are on a 2-week hiatus. So Fox Sports will run in our place, I believe, on all 4 of those days. So we're off for the 2 weeks then until July 8th, and then we'll be back and getting
World
things
traveling, Ironhead. World traveling,
revved
baby.
up for football season. And again, we'll keep the hype machine in full gear for the Nittany Lions. I do think if this team can stay healthy, and it's one of those things too, it's sometimes where you get injured, like defensive end. Now you don't want to see any more guys getting banged up there, but it feels like they have, again, they're solid at the very least across the board, have as good a depth as they've had, and that's just been kind of the recurring theme, just getting a little bit better each year. You know, to me, I think Drew Aller is going to be kind of the key to this thing, and it's going to be how he performs in the big moments. And fair or unfair, that's just that's where we're at in terms of how he's going to be remembered and judged. Everybody recognizes he is a terrific quarterback, a terrific talent. He has done a very good job. I don't know that anybody could be unhappy with the overall performance of Drew Aller, but, and that's the problem, there is the but, in the big games and in the big moments, there have been mistakes made in critical situations. And again, I'm not pinning that all on him by any stretch. It's the nature of being the quarterback at a university like Penn State. I think he knows that. I think he embraces it. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and I think that'll serve Penn State well as a result of it in the upcoming season. I will say I also like what we're hearing, at least, with the receiving core this year compared to a year ago. Now, I want to see it in games. I want to see when Penn State's out there against Oregon. Are these guys going out and making plays, making the routine plays routinely, and maybe occasionally making a play on a ball where you're like, Drew, oh, wait, no, it's okay. That's what you need to see to be like, that's the final piece to me, aside from Aller in the big moments of the big games. They need a receiving core that is ready to meet the challenge as well.
I had a conversation with the football guy this weekend. We were talking about Aller. He made a pretty good point. He goes, he doesn't throw risky balls in normally. And it's what's gotten him in trouble is when he tries to take a risk and it's like he feels pressure that he has to make something happen.
Yeah.
You're okay, man. We got a great running game. We got, we're okay. Just don't make mistakes. You know what I mean? But he's that player who wants
understand
to make
when it is okay to eat it and understand the moment.
Live another day.
And listen, again, part of that is just experience. And we're at the point now where he has enough experience, and coming off of the Notre Dame game last year, like, all right, if you get back in that moment, now we need you to do the right thing or make the right decision. And again, I really think he will, but until it happens, it is going to be the question mark surrounding this team. And again, along with can this receiving core take a step and not be can they be part of why Penn State is winning, not the reason that you're wondering if they can win a big game in a big moment. Folks, we hope you enjoy the next couple of weeks. You don't have to listen to these two knuckleheads talk until July 8th. We look forward to talking to you then. And until then, be good and be safe.
Summer is here. Is your vehicle going to make it on those summer trips? Don't disappoint your family. We want to see you in a Kia at Lion Country Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia.
Hurry into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drywood Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter. and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
The State College Spikes are back for a 6-game homestand, Tuesday, June 17th through Sunday the 22nd. The Spikes take on the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and the Trenton Thunder during the stretch with a full slate of daily value promotions. Plus the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Army, Navy, and Marines Friday, June 20th. And fireworks presented by the Central PA Autism Community Saturday, June 21st on Autism Acceptance Night. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again. The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7. The Fox State College. The Goon.